All right, yep, it's recording. So I'm still Emily. This is Shelly, the assistant principal on site, and then Aaron's here too, so we can talk about Standard 10, right? Mm-hmm. Standard 10.
Okay. Which is the leadership and collaboration.
Yes, leadership and collaboration.
So the first standard that is listed is involvement in school-wide efforts. And if you want to talk about maybe how you promote PBIS and visible learning in your classroom.
So for PBIS, I have the kids a lot of times, I use the leopard paws as an incentive at carpet time a lot. Like, I will tell the kids I'm giving out 4 during this time for listening bodies, which is like crisscross applesauce, hands and left, eyes forward, ears forward. And then we talk about whole body listening, which means, so we had a curriculum in Idaho that was Listening Larry or something, but it was a little child that had like different pictures, and it talked about how you have to listen with your brain and you have to listen with your heart. So listening with your heart is you let go of how you're feeling, like if you're mad, you know, or if you're really happy too, because if you're really happy, you might be going around. Yeah. And then if you're listening with your brain, that means that you're, you know, engaged. So we talk about that, and then I'll have I took pictures of all the kids too with the listening body, and so I'm like, look, who's, you know, doing this and that kind of thing. So it's really fun. And then we talk about all the time too, like how we use different centers in the classroom and how we use like the whole environment, school environment, like the bathrooms. You know, we talk about how when we're in the hallway, we have to walk and we have to line up nicely and those kinds of things. So we're being respectful. And then the playground, I read this book pretty much once a month, and it's about how you use the equipment. And it's like penguins and stuff, different animals, and they do the stuff wrong, and then they go, no, that's not how you do it, that's not safe. Right. And then then it shows it the correct way, and so we talk about that. Yeah. Oh, and No David. I use No David as a social story for like just any No David story is awesome, because you can show like him standing on furniture, and you can be like, hey, do we stand on the furniture? Right. No, that's not safe, and all that stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, visual learning too. Yeah. Do that. So I have a focus wall, and everything's posted, and what we're learning, the letter of the week, the number, and then we were doing colors, but we've done all the colors, and anything that basically we're talking about, I'll have posted somewhere. Okay, we refer to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we refer to it daily and all that.
Did you go with kind of mint and...
No, we didn't.
I was going to say, she said every color, so in my brain I was like, you went over primary and secondary colors. I talked myself down from asking that, Erin.
I mean, we did teal because that was their favorite color for like a straight month. Everybody was fighting over the teal marker. So I bought a bunch of teal markers. And we talk about teal a lot still.
So you're advocating for students and supporting their needs.
Yes, because they need
teal. Okay, awesome. Did you have anything that you would want to add as the PBIS?
That sounds good. If you want to join the PBIS team, you're more welcome.
Oh, okay. That would be cool. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, what do we do on the team?
There's a few different things. So we meet once a month, and during that we talk about how many referrals we have, where we're getting high referral areas. Okay. We talk about data so far, like suspension rates and everything, and how we're doing with that. This year alone, we've remodeled the referral form to encompass more of restorative justice piece rather than just like punitive. And we changed the leopard paws this year. Early on we did that. So we've done a lot this year with that. And then we like changing the recess was kind of related to the PBIS, because we noticed the PBIS at the end of the day, like the recess was terrible. So that motivated the change of how do we make that safer. We split it into 2 recesses.
No, I like that, being more positive about it instead of the negative.
Yeah, and it's trying to be proactive and looking at things, you know, ahead of time rather than reactive.
So everyone kind of throws their ideas in, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
I would love to join.
Yeah. All right.
Things you may regret.
And it's recorded in it.
You have it. Okay. Schools as organizations. So that was one that we were talking about yesterday. We were kind of like, what does that even mean? But Shelley kind of was explaining to us that that could be how like the district office's choices and their processes affect your classroom in general. So
Okay.
maybe talk about that a little bit. How
Yeah.
you feel about
District and site.
Yeah.
decisions.
Okay. So for district, I know Teresa is really promoting the, visual learning. So I have a lot of that stuff posted, and
Mhm.
I try to help the kids understand why they're learning different things. And it's gotten a lot better. The beginning, it was just, well, my mommy wants me to learn that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's a little bit more intentional. I think that next year they just need a little bit more time
Yeah,
to
they're
process
babies.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool thing to start.
Yeah, I do like it too. I think it does help me be intentional too, especially if I'm posting things And then I have my units that I follow, and then Teresa has emailed me, and we talked about how we're blending the preschool, kindergarten standards and making TK standards that reflect, both of those aspects, so the kids are ready for kindergarten. But they're not getting like double dosage of kindergarten, so it's not boring. And then as far as on site, we do our grade level meetings, and we talk about what kindergarten's doing, and then I ask those teachers like what they want the kids to be ready for, and they give me feedback, and then we kind of plan together so that I know what not to do and what to do, so that I'm not doing a lot of kindergarten stuff.
Right.
That's pretty much all I
Yeah.
can think of.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And when we talk,
No, it's looking at it as a whole package. Like the school branches a lot of things out to you, like Tara and I do at Stephanies. We have a lot of things that are like, these are the things that we need you to be doing. We disseminate the information, and then the district office does the same things with their professional development.
Yeah.
So it's really taking all those and making them work for TK.
Yeah.
So we're doing that.
I think she's doing a really good job. Respective families. We talked about, and actually, we thought we made a rule like this could be good for everybody to do. Posting lesson plans in our room for the week, I think that's amazing. I love that you do that, and your calendar and your parent newsletter, which is also in Spanish version too, so that all your parents that are dropping their babies off every morning can look at that and see, what's coming, and really keep them informed on a far more regular basis than a monthly newsletter or just seeing you at conferences or whatever, So,
I like it because it keeps me accountable too, like that I'm planning and that I'm planning in advance too, not just like weekly. Like I try to do 2 to 3 weeks out so that I'm layering my lessons too, so it makes sense. Since I have the freedom to build my curriculum based on what the children are interested in.
Yeah.
But with that comes a big responsibility of making sure that there's a natural progression of information and it makes sense. Because otherwise, like if you're like, we're going to do butterflies and then we're going to do letters this week, like that doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely.
So scaffolding.
Yeah, so exactly, yeah. So it helps me a lot. If I didn't do that, I don't know what I'd be doing.
Yeah. No, I think it's great, and I think that it really helps that aspect of, the respecting your families in your room. But it's also respecting your time, your kids' time,
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. And
it's big.
I try to think, like, we talked about this in the last video, I think, but how would I want my child, to be treated and taught in a classroom? And I would want it to be impactful.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. So, I love that. And our last bit here, advocating for students. We already give them the marker colors they need, so we're on. Yep. But one thing you mentioned, which I think is really, really good, is that you want your TK kids to not have the same exact things as next year in kindergarten, and that you're giving them those tasks so they have something this year that they're working on and is impactful, but is not going to just be, we're doing the same thing this year and I am going to give Miss John a bad time because I'm bored in class.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I feel like that's a big piece.
Yeah, and you have to have like a balance of, blending the two together. That's been the biggest challenge, I think, when I do grade levels. Like, that's a really cool idea, but if I did it, then they're doing it twice, and that's not, appropriate. Because I think that what we're doing with TK is really cool, that we're setting these kids up for success to be ahead of the kindergarten kids, which is great. But a lot of times at least what I found in the past when we would do RTI groups where the kids were the brightest, they had the most behavior problems in those groups.
They get bored.
They get
Right.
bored, yeah, and you don't want to.
So you have to
set them
balance
up.
not repeating what they're doing, but also challenging them enough to where they're still learning and making growth. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's stagnant for them too.
Yeah, and then I think that's been the. I was like reflecting on for one of my assignments, and one of the kids in my class that I was struggling with him spinning in circles was that he was really high when he came in, and I wasn't pushing him enough, and I was focusing on all my low
Right.
kids, like we tend to do,
Yeah.
because we want to push them, and we're like, well, that kid's fine, but
Right.
we push the other one,
Right.
but you
But
have
they
to
still
do
need to be
both.
challenged,
Yeah, you
yeah.
have to do both, and that's something that I'm learning.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get better. I've been trying to think of activities though for him, or tweaking things too,
Mhm.
just making it a little bit easier on myself, where you're planning for everybody, but just
Yeah.
just a little bit,
Not to be a whole new lesson.
yeah, exactly, yeah, and I think that it's gotten a little bit easier for me, but it's still
still
hard.
Oh,
yeah.
And I think it's hard for teachers that have been doing it for a long time. I mean, I had that conversation with teachers who have been teaching for longer than I did, and it's like you still have to do it. You have to make that effort, and it has to be a conscious effort because it's not something that comes easy for everyone.
Mhm.
No, yeah, and I think I feel like I'm really good with the low.
Mhm.
Like I think I'm really good at simplifying things and making it so that they can understand like what we're doing.
Which is big for them because you
Yeah.
want them to feel successful.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but it's the higher kids that I have a hard time challenging because I think that with early childhood, it has this awesome thing in the field where you're like, look at all they know. So you just like, but are you pushing them?
Yeah.
You might not be because you're just focusing on the positives, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about
Yes,
it.
but what else can we do?
What else can we do?
Yeah.
What
Now
can we-
what?
Yeah,
Let's let now
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good. I don't think that's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, good.
everybody, like you said, teachers that have been teaching a long time still struggle with that piece. I see it a lot in classrooms, and I hear it a lot too.
Yeah.
You hear complaints about like, "Oh, this kid is just bored." It's like, okay, what are you doing?
Well,
What
and
are you
it's
doing
a
for
huge
that
like
kid, you know?
classroom management thing too.
Totally.
Yeah, because if you had a bunch of, just like if you had a bunch of low kids
Mhm.
too,
Mhm.
like, that
That are
but if-
lost.
if you had like a bunch of high kids that were really really bored,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to teach to the the crowd. It's hard. Yeah, it's really
It is
hard.
Teaching is the hardest job on the planet.
It is.
It
Yeah,
really is.
it's.
I
so
think
much fun,
that
though.
might be a good thing to bring up in the PBS. Yeah, look at what Wildcat kids, that are bored.
Mhm.
And we have those behavior
might,
problems. So what are we going to do?
Mhm.
Could be a school-wide push.
Yeah, well, because we're trying to get everybody to be bored, right? Everybody to be high. Eventually,
But then we have
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Do I think we covered everything?
Yeah, I think so. And let's see how much time. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. All right.
All right,
Yeah.
of course, anytime.